Peace and bless everyone. This is Medicine Man once again to YouTube to talk about today's topic, man. Well, today we're going to talk about hoodoo and the intent to heal when you're approaching your ancestral altar. That's like one of the main questions that people have been asking me about healing. You know what I mean? And about embarking on the path to healing and creating your healing for yourself. Now, when you embark on your path to healing, that's one of the deepest questions that we can ask ourselves. How do we heal? Now, from a spiritual perspective, when we move to go and heal ourselves, and we're using spiritual energy and spiritual power to heal ourselves, one of the main things that we should actually do is approach our ancestral altar with the intent to heal. But the question is why? One of the reasons why we approach our ancestral altar with the intent to heal is because healing is where the power is really at. Because as root workers and workers of the ancestral path, it is our obligation not only to heal ourselves, but also to heal the burdens that has been installed in our bloodlines through the experiences of our predecessors and ancestors. So when there is ancestral history in our bloodline that involves bloodshed, that involves all kind of other atrocities, it becomes apparently our responsibility when we approach the ancestral tradition. You see, it becomes our responsibility when we approach the ancestral tradition to heal the burdens of our ancestors. Many of us use techniques such as burning ancestral money. Others have used techniques such as burning real money. Many of us use techniques such as ancestral's creative visualizations. One of the things that I spoke about in the book, in my new book, Rootscraft, I spoke about creative visualizations. When we go to manifest our goals, right? When we go to manifest our goals, let's say we want to manifest a new job or we're trying to manifest some love in our life. How could we manifest prosperity? How could we manifest love in our life if there is no sense of healing radiating from our aura already, or an attempt to heal, or an intent to heal? So one of the main things that we must do when we approach our ancestors is fulfill that obligation first. That is the strongest, most powerful obligation that we can have as root workers and healers. Okay? The most powerful obligation we have is to heal. Because when we heal ourselves, we also heal our ancestral bloodlines. You see, many of our ancestors in the past, they died unhealed. So when we build our ancestral altar, and this is very important, when we go to build our ancestral altar, we're taking the remnants and elements of things that belong to our ancestors, right? Such as your grandmother's hat, your grandfather's walking stick, a cousin that you was very close with, their coffee cup, pictures, and other objects that they had a physical affinity with, things that they wore, things that they touched, things that they held sacred, things that they commonly used when they were alive. We take these elements, we take these objects, and we place them on our altar in specific ways. Now, one of the things that I teach people about when they're building their altar is the ancestors. When you're building your altar, the ancestors that you were closest with, you place those items on the right side of your altar. The ancestors that you knew but you weren't that close to, or you don't know at all, you will place those elements on the left side, excuse me, y'all, on the left side of the altar. It's very important, I think, from a mystical perspective, to acknowledge that when you're working with the right side of the altar, those are the ancestors that you basically knew in life, and those are the ones that were close to you. The ones on the left-hand sides are representative of the unknown forces, the unknown ancestors, you see? So now, when we go to do spiritual work, we should always approach the right side of the altar first, because these are the people, these are the spiritual forces that we have a commonality with. These are the people that we were connected to. These are the people that we walked the earth with. They just happened to die before us. So we work with them on the right side of the altar. Okay? And when we approach the left side of the altar, these are all of the objects and everything that's placed on the left side of the altar should be representative and representing the unknown forces, the unknown elements, the unknown bloodline ancestors. So, and this intunes us with the energy, I think, for the most part. It intunes us with the ancestral energies in a way that we're right. We know what the right represents in root working. The right represents those things that we hold close to us, those positive, very strong positive forces, or those forces that we recognize as the positive elements. We place them on the right side. So we put all the items and everything, the pictures and everything. Then the ones for the left side are not negative. They're not negative, they're just unknown. So when we approach the left side of the altar, we approach it with a certain energy. That, okay, you're my ancestor, you're my bloodline ancestor, but you're not known to me. And because you're not known to me, I give you reverence, but you shouldn't conjure that energy directly. And there's a reason for that. We'll talk about that later. So when we approach our ancestral altar, you want to bring healing as the first act of magic when you build your altar. A lot of us, we build our ancestral altar and we get directly into, I need a manifestation. I need some love in my life. You see? And because we do that, we like overstep the boundary of the healing that really needs to take place, especially in our communities and in our lives and in the lives of our ancestors. So if I build an altar right now, I build this altar, consecrate the altar and everything. And the first thing I'm asking for is some money. The first thing I'm asking for is some love in my life. And you haven't addressed the healing principle. That's the most important thing to the spirits. Spirits don't care about money. There's no money in the spiritual realm. They don't care about that. What they care about is restoring the integrity, the power, the love, the unity, and the connectivity within the bloodline so that that positive energy, that healing energy could be passed down to generations. And the reason for that is because if you don't heal your ancestors, and for the ladies, if you don't heal your ancestral energy through your altar, which is a vortex, if you don't heal it and you turn around and get pregnant, what are you doing? You're going to rebirth an ancestor that's unhealed. And then you wonder why our children are going through so much calamities in the society and things like that. Well, it's because we're doing the ancestral work, but we're not doing it correctly from an energetic perspective. We're not healing our ancestral spirits. So when we get married, we get in these relationships, and we have children, our children coming through the world as ancestors returned, ancestral energy returned, but they're not healed. So they have to come right back to this earthly plane, this earthly dimension, seeking healing all over again because we didn't do the work. We built the altar, we had the vortex, and we spent the majority of our time begging for love and money. You see? So it's very important that when we construct our ancestral altars, especially in the beginning, when we first constructed in the beginning, it's very important that we establish the intent to heal. You speak to your ancestral spirits and you let them know that it is my intent to build this altar. It is my intent to channel my energies through this altar for the purpose of healing my ancestral bloodline, invoking the powers, invoking from within, invoking the powers of prosperity and love to exist continuously within my bloodline. And this is when your ancestors really, 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 really respond. because these spirits are broken. A lot of our ancestral spirits are broken. They came from slavery, they came from oppression, they came from false cultural ideas. So they are seeking to elevate their spirits. And if you open up yourself to healing you, you open yourself up to healing them. And you have to establish that intent first. And once you establish that intent first, every act that you do after that will be based on the intent to heal. So many of us, when we put together our petitions, we approach our ancestral altar. I call on my ancestors, both known and unknown, to grant me prosperity, to grant me love, to grant me peace. But where's the healing? See, when we construct our petitions, it's always better to begin the petition with an intent to heal the spiritual forces of your bloodline. I call forth the power of my ancestral bloodline, and I heal them with the correct acts, with the correct thoughts that I manifest in this life, so that when they return, they will return healed through me. You see? Or devise it some way in that structure. Because when you devise it in some way in that structure, you chant your petition, you say your prayer, beginning with healing first. Look at our communities, look at our people. We really need to heal. And not only heal ourselves, we need to heal our spirits on the spiritual plane. So when we approach our ancestral altar with the ultimate intent to heal first, through our petitions, through our prayers, and through our chants, and through our meditations. Now, we begin our ancestral meditations on our altar. How was the intent to heal really manifested through creative visualizations? One technique, one way of doing it is when we go into our deep trance states of meditation, it's really important to visualize the healing of the people that you knew, who you walked with in your life. You begin by visualizing that healing. If they were sick, you need to visualize them healed. Because when you do that in deep states of trance, what you're doing is channeling that healing energy to the spirit world. And they are going to respond to that. They're going to respond to that by giving you great health. A lot of us have genetic traits that have diseases. Some people are, deal with scoliosis. Some people deal with sickle cell. And these things are genetically transferred down through generations. You see, certain nervous conditions, certain mental conditions, these things are transferred down through generations. Only thing we're doing in our generation is we're receivers of that energy. We're receiving the energy. Because the energy is in a cyclic state. It keeps going on and on because we're not doing the healing work. We have the power to do it. We have the knowledge to do it, but we are not practically acting on our own healing and healing the bloodline. So if you want sickle cell to not affect your children, even though it's in the bloodline, you have to heal the spirits that came before you that possessed the sickle cell. You see? You have to go into the spirit world through your ancestral altar, which is your ancestral vortex. You have to go into the spirit world and commit to channeling the healing energy to the spirits that already have died to the sickle cell, the ones who already fell victim to the sickle cell in your bloodline. Once you channel that energy to them, when those ancestors return, they're going to return healed. So that next baby that you have may have the sickle cell trait, but it would never affect them. Because you've done the spiritual work to channel that energy and suppress that energy to where it doesn't affect your bloodline. So you can have completely, totally healthy children that won't have the sickle cell. Everybody else got sickle cell in the family, except your children, because you're doing the spiritual work. Everybody in the family have mental illness and mental diseases, but not your children, because you're doing the spiritual work to heal the spirits in the spirit world. You see? So change your intent, change your approach, and the prayers and the chants and the petitions that you're using, and always commit to installing the act of healing first, healing the spirits. If you know your aunt or uncle or somebody in your family died of cancer, and you know that cancer runs rapidly through the family, or someone in your family died of high blood pressure, and you know how high blood pressure runs through the family, then you make sure that when you approach your ancestral altar, you make sure that when you build your ancestral altar, your first intent that you place on that altar when you build it, the first intent you give when you approach it, is to heal the diseases, whether they be mental, whether it be spiritual or biological, to heal those diseases that has ran rampant in your bloodlines, so that your children and the ancestors that come after you and the ancestors that return, that they don't return with the same diseases and illnesses. You see? And you commit to that process through committing to your own healing. Now, this healing is more than spiritual. I mean, we are all guilty. Trust me, we are all guilty. And we need to get more focused on our health. You know, that's one of the main things. Drinking water, eating alkaline-based foods, electric foods, and following very strict dietary regimens. And one of the things about committing to the healing aspect is we have to know what affects our body. We have to be in tune with our body in a way that we know. You eat a piece of cheese and you feel weak, you shouldn't be eating that cheese. Any food that you eat that depletes your energy, you should stay away from it. It's not good for you, because you will build a habit of continuously draining yourself. You know what I mean? You build a habit of doing that. So it's very important. I just wanted to share a few words with that. You know, the importance of installing the intent to heal when we're building our altars. For all the new guys, you know, for all the new practitioners of root working and hoodoo, is definitely a must for you guys. You know, all us old heads who've been doing this root work, we know what we need to do. We know we should go and approach our altars every day with the intent to heal. We know we should do that. Many of us don't. You know, we stubborn, you know. But this is a very, very deep spiritual act that can and should take place to ensure that we're channeling the right energies into the spirit world. You see, a lot of times we just sit back and channel love into the spirit world. And when you channel love to your ancestral spirits and they're unhealed, all they're going to do is attract unhealed people to you. That's all they're going to do. Attract unhealed and more unhealed. Keep doing it over and over again until you help them heal by channeling the spiritual energy of healing. And not only channeling that energy, but embodying that energy, embodying that healing. You know, become accountable, accept your responsibility to heal yourself. And the more you accept the responsibility to heal yourself, the more you heal your ancestral bloodline. And when your ancestral bloodline is healed, you will start to give birth to children that are healed. Because we have to remember, every child that we give birth to is an ancestor returned. You see? And these ancestors who are returning with the same vibrational frequency of being unhealed. You have to heal. They have to heal. And your ancestors merge in a healing energy. In that house, your altar, her altar, your altar, his altar, it merges. The ultimate energy of healing. Because once that energy is generated in your home, you start to give birth to children. Those children are going to be healed. Because that's the only energy you're generating there. And healed children are very intelligent. They're going to be highly intelligent kids. You know, they're still going to be bad. Trust me. They're still going to be bad as hell, but they're going to be healed. And they won't have to go through the same traumatic events or even similar traumatic events that we go through. You see, and that's the purpose of restoring balance to our ancestral bloodline, is through the way we channel energies. So we conjure this energy up within us and we channel it out into the altars, you know. The hand is a very magical tool. This is why we do everything with our hands. The hands is a very magical tool, and our feet. You know, many of us, when we get in front of our altars, we stomp. The question is, why do we stomp? Why do we knock? What's the purpose? It's sound wave energy. And then we channel our intent through the sound. Channel your intent through the sound helps the vibration reach into the spirit world. When we stomp and channel our energy through the vibration of the stomp in front of the altar, it channels the energy into the spirit world. Many of us dance. We put that music on and we get it on. We start dancing in front of the altar. Many people think that's weird. Like, that's weird. Why is she dancing? Why is he dancing, doing all of this here in front of his ancestral altar? The reason is movement. Every time you move your body this way, that way, you're making geometric shapes that vibrate energy through your body movement. And once you get in tune with the proper movements and motions of energy through, and once those channels are opened, you're able to communicate. Then you sit down, your heart racing, your mind is expanded. Then you sit down and say, okay, go into your deep rhythmatic trance. You sit down, you kneel down, some people lay down, some people stand up, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and you channel that energy. You go into your deep trance. You recite your mantra, your petition, your prayer with the intent to heal. Stop begging at the altars all the time. Recite the petition, chant, prayer with the intent to heal. And your ancestral spirits will come to you and show you, because that's what they want. You see? That's what they want. And when they start showing you the things that you need to do, you start hearing voices of the things you need to do. As soon as you get up from your ritual and you go outside, you are introduced to people who have ideas, who have the type of motivation that you need to progress in your life. They will bring people to you. They will place you in situations for you to prosper, because they understand that they cannot be healed unless you are healed. So you have to cooperate in the whole act together. Okay? That's just a part of it. There's a whole lot more. There's a lot of ritual work that I talk about using the ancestral name, the people that you knew, things that you can do with the unknown ancestors on your altar also, placing work on your altar, consecrating on your altar. So those are some of the things that, that I teach, and I'm going to have some more classes coming up soon. If you guys are interested, email me at medicinemail21@gmail.com. And I'll give you guys some updates on when I'm having my next class, because right now I don't know right now. But if you guys push me to it, I would. And I'll have a class about the ancestral altar. I've already had some classes, and I got some videos that I have saved on the ancestral altar already. That's for purchase for you guys. You can contact me about that also. But the main thing is constructing a newer video. I'm going to construct a new video and show you guys a different aspect of the altar that I haven't showed you guys before in my previous videos, my class videos, of course. And I'm going to show you how to work with the names of your ancestors on your altar. You know, how to take their names and design forces specifically that's connected with them, so you can promote that healing. Like if you have a grandmother who died of cancer, for example, comes back to this world when that spirit Hey, Donna. I got Donnie, Kimberly. What's up? Bella B. Candy. Yeah. Don't make me do the video again, y'all. Please.